Well, it's about 7 in the morning, Friday the 13th of August, and so far, very calm. They're now saying that Hurricane Charlie will pass by the Fort Myers area about 60 miles offshore with the hurricane force winds. So we're expecting winds right now of 70 to 80 miles an hour where we are. But they're still expecting a huge storm surge, an increase in the water level of 9 to 10 feet. So that's what we're most worried about right now. We have the boat up about as high as we can get it on the lift. So a little bit of a breeze, about 75 degrees, very nice morning. And we got the Lexus in position, ready to roll us out of here if necessary.
We estimate right now that about 1.5 million people have been impacted, and that number will increase. So we're talking about, in terms of evacuation numbers, that may exceed Hurricane Floyd. And it appears that things, while it is inconvenient to have to leave your home, that people are doing it, and they're doing it safely. And we urge people this morning, if they have not evacuated from the areas where they were told to do so, please do so. The threats of storm surge in the low-lying areas along the coast, the brutal winds that are anticipated are such that people should really take the advice of local officials. Go to shelters, go to be with loved ones, leave the areas that will be most impacted.
It's now 8:17 in the morning, and we have overcast and some drizzle. It's still very calm, slight breeze.
Water surge here. It is 7 to 10 feet. We're being conservative with this. That can be added to as the afternoon progresses, so we'll keep you posted. Beach and Charlotte Harbor, especially the canals and the Caloosahatchee, that's the areas we're most concerned with. Hopefully you have your plan in effect already. Here's an example of this storm surge. You can see Category 3 storm possibly off the coast of Santa, about southwesterly wind. That's going to push all that moisture and all the Gulf water into our coastal sections. These are our concerns: the Caloosahatchee, the mouth of the Caloosahatchee, and of course Charlotte Harbor. The yellow indicates still storm surge, but not as much as those bullseyes we're looking at right here. A quick update on the eye of the storm. You can see this moving to the west of Key West, moving due north about 18 miles an hour. It's going to start its easterly jog soon. We'll keep you posted on that. There's the tornado watch box issue being extended up towards Orlando and Tampa. So we're going to see isolated tornadoes. You can see the bands coming in. It's going to be hit or miss bands from here on out. So we'll keep you posted right here.
Well, it's a little before 10 a.m. now, and skies are getting a little bit darker. Breeze is picking up a bit. Now they're telling us on TV that the eye of the storm is projected to be a little bit east of what they were saying this morning, which is not good for us. One of the neighbors suggested I not only secure the boat to the lift, but secure the lift to the dock, the pilings, to try to prevent too much shifting in the wind. Done the best I could with that.
much so over here on the surge and the possibility of surge, how far inland it may go because of the Caloosahatchee River and their areas in Collier and Charlotte County. Can you tell us what your prediction is on that at this point?
I mean, that's very dependent on where the core of the hurricane goes. This intense eye wall near the center. If it comes into your area, then you're going to get the highest storm surge, which would be on the order of 10 feet or maybe even higher to 13 feet. The other indication, I said there were a couple changes occurring, is that we've got the aircraft flying through the hurricane now. And we are seeing some indications that we may have one last intensification occurring. If that happens, then we'll be bumped up to Category 3 from Category 2, perhaps in the next advisory.
11:15 now. Everything's still very calm. In fact, it's a little bit brighter now. They just issued a recommendation to evacuate our area, and Ann and Carl were trying to decide whether to drive out to their house. But still, it just seems so calm here. A bit of a breeze. They're saying the initial squall will hit within an hour. And then there's just no telling how stormy it will be and how difficult to drive. Water's rising. It's pretty close to how high it gets in high tide. And we still have another 3 or 4 hours before high tide. So there's a little bit of a surge going on here, I think. About 11:30, and the first sign of wind starting to stir up a little bit here. Well, it's a little afternoon now, and the heavy weather's starting, so we're on our way to Peter's house.
Say we got evacuated now from Old Cape Coral.
That's true. We actually they're now advising to evacuate the area in which we live. So Pete's maybe 10 feet higher above sea level, and at least will be safe from the surge. We don't know what to expect about winds yet. We're still trying to predict where the eye of the storm is going to land. Traffic's kind of heavy. People are moving.
And in its path is me in Charlotte County, and we are very, very concerned about the impact of the major hurricane. Specifically,
Jared, come here. Look. They're predicting it's heading right for us now.
This is a definite turn to the right. The last major hurricane that impacted Lee and Charlotte County was Hurricane Donna in 1960. This is a hurricane we have not seen as modern residents of Southwest Florida before. But there is no question there has been a course change. Several other pieces of evidence that we're looking at right now. We're seeing the eye getting smaller. That is a sign of an organizing system. We're also getting a report, the last report from the Hurricane Hunter aircraft, that at their flight level at 10,000 feet, they measured winds of 139 miles an hour. Now, that's not the signals of the plane that hit the ground, but you take that measurement down to the ground, and we're talking about 120 or 125 mile an hour hurricane. That is a Category 3 major hurricane, and it still has about an hour to an hour and a half to even before it reaches Neptune.
Jim, we've been telling people all morning that the radius of max winds are about 30 miles off the center of the storm. Do you still concur with that? Are we still thinking 30 miles away from the center?
I don't want to go underneath the tree.
You want to stay where you're at?
I think it's better on the ocean.
Then the storm's going to arrive, it's going to come back, and you can see very easily a 5 and 10 foot rise in water in just a couple minutes time.
We're now evacuating Pete's house and heading for Chris's because they've upgraded to Category 2 storm.
A Category 4.
Or 4. Headed right at us, 140 mile an hour winds. Chris's house is newer and boarded up, so we're going to hope for the best.
Well, we're all here now. There's no place else to go. The shelters are filled. They tried to get in one that told Josh to get it.
The store's fighting with me.
Yeah, I won't be able to have it open much longer. Won't be able to get it closed.
Jeez.
I think this is the strongest I've ever seen it. Probably didn't even can't imagine. Guess we'll find out. Starting to rain harder.
The center of Hurricane Charlie, with the worst Category 4 winds of over 140 miles per hour, is now located, I'm going to give you an exact coordinate now, from Fort Myers Beach to the outer band of the storm. It's only 14.2 miles from Fort Myers Beach. That's where the main brunt of the storm is. Let me let you, if you would, take a quick look at the radar one more time. I'll show you the loop. We've been looking at pictures from Fort Myers Beach, and here you can see the track of the storm.
We also, Robert, have some information coming in from our weather system that we're operating some satellite and radar information that if we can pop that up on the screen right now, gives us another perspective of the storm now nearing Sanibel, Captiva, Pine Island, Fort Myers Beach, and Cape Coral at the present time. By the way, we're also seeing lightning strikes. Those are the crosshairs that you see. That's lightning. That's problems with the storm coming in from the looking live just outside the inner core of Hurricane Charlie as it is arriving on the Lee County coastline.
I'm tracking this from Bowman's Beach. Bowman's Beach is right here to the edge of the main part of the storm at 2.4 miles. That's about 10-15 minutes. Residents around Bowman's Beach, as Jim mentioned,
darling.
all of Sanibel, Captiva, turn off the TV, get into the bathroom, get into the interior part of your house, make sure that you have protection for your body, mattresses, pillows, blankets, whatever you need. A lot of folks had their kids sort of underneath them as they were on top of them, and then you have your protection on top of you there. That's a good way to
lay down on top of your
layers.
children, put a mattress over your head. Jesus.
We have some new information. Oh, no, we also have new information now that the telephone service has been cut off.
You guys settle down, please, because I'm nervous.
We are not ignoring Collier County by any means. The storm is affecting
Lindsay, that means you. Come back here, honey, and sit down.
Imminent landfall is of the storm, but now we know that information that the phone service has been cut off to Marco Island.
As we were talking earlier today, once the storm passes a beam of your location and moves to the north, actually that's the strongest part for your wind and storm surge. So that's already happening in Marco Island right now. Next up is going to be the beachfront in Naples, and from there we go on up the line to Bonita Beach.
Let me just zoom out real quickly and show you what we're talking about here with that radar imagery on a larger view. Here's Marco, here's Naples. The southeast winds have passed. The eye of the storm is now north of Naples and Marco, and now we're going to see a return, as Jim said, back from the south into the west. This is going to be the bad part, folks. This is going to bring the tide back in. I'm sure the beaches went down a little bit around Naples as well. Now the storm and surge is going to be coming back right here.
How close is it to us right now? It's like...
But what we're really amazed at right now is this apparent turn off again to the north. The storm was headed north a couple of hours ago. It made a turn toward the Lee Island coast in the northeast. Now, Jim, in the last few minutes, it is definitely looking like we are seeing this take another turn. You know, all morning long we've been sort of just showing you as we see what's going on. The Hurricane Center had a track for an hour, so we kept saying, well, and they're saying this, but here's what we're showing you. We can see it, and now we're doing it again. This storm is changing its its mind.
Is that your
Now,
baby?
Let's not have a misunderstanding here. This turn.
What's his
in the
name,
course
Julia?
has,
Absolutely right.
has not lessened the impact of the storm surge that is occurring right now on Sanibel Island and along the Connerassa and the mouth of the Caloosahatchee River. That storm surge is taking place right now. There's a storm surge ongoing inland from Captiva Island on the Pine Island Sound side of the Valley.
It does appear to be moving slowly back over toward the north again.
It's almost as if the storm bounced off the coastline and just decided to take a turn toward the left. So now the storm is paralleling the northern part of Sanibel. It's a beam of line pass.
Northern part of Sanibel, that's directly west of us, isn't it, pretty much? It's still south?
So around the storm, we know 145 mile per hour winds are associated with the eye.
That's our barrier.
The group around us, kind of 7 miles per hour. Do you think that means now that we're going to see that those major winds, Cat 4 winds, stay just offshore?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say. This turn of events was unforeseen about 20 minutes ago. What we're looking at right now, but a turn toward the north now clearly brings Charlotte County under the gun, and perhaps even Sarasota County lying in the path of the threat to Placida, Boca Grande, Rotunda, the Englewood area, and depending on the future turn of events, portions of Charlotte Harbor, the interior of Charlotte County.
Trees going down, some leaves and limbs, portions being ripped off. This is tropical storm force winds here in central Fort Myers, but just 20 miles away on Sanibel and Captiva, our Doppler radar indicates that we are seeing winds in excess of 100 to 140 miles an hour associated with this Category 4 storm. I'll put this into motion again, and you'll also see this apparent, as you say, Jim, bounce off and a little bit more of a jog to the north.
Okay, now that it appears that the lower part of Sanibel Island has missed a direct hit, now we need to be talking to you folks in Boca Grande, in Placida, in Rotunda, and up the line eventually in Englewood, because the same precautions, the same warnings that we gave you on Sanibel, Pine Island, and Cape Coral now need to be urgently heeded across...
What happened? Power went off.
I'm sure they'll get it back on in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Next Monday.
Can't imagine what's happening to our house right now.
I understand my weekend hurricane. I was supposed to see it.
There's a branch. The branch is falling down. You know, the palm tree is supposed to be designed by nature to withstand.
Yeah, because they always just go through that. You know? Well, they haven't for 40 years.
Yeah, but stuff's gonna start flying now. Wow.
Yeah, look.
Yeah.
This has got to be 90 or 100, I bet, right? Okay.
Oh my god, oh my god.
Whoa!
Oh my god, look at that branch.
My car is sitting underneath that frickin' branch at home.
I'm worried about that tree knocking.
Look at that. Oh my God.
from this way.
Whoa, there goes a tree. Yeah. Oh, really?
That's not good. Yeah, I think.
Check that out.
You're gonna take something in the back of your head, man.
Yeah, then we don't have a hospital. It's closed. We haven't even seen the worst
It
of it
made
yet.
landfall.
It's Annabelle. So it's
Captiva.
yeah, but it's coming this way.
Yeah.
All right, come on, dummy. Oh, look at that. Look, look. You see the tree? Come on, Chris. Something's gonna hit you.
Chris, really, man.
Nat, come on. Oh my God. Chris.
Brett, we need to get
In the house, Brittany. Josh in the house now. Go.
Come on.
Well, it's the morning after, about 8 in the morning, and we were so fortunate that the hurricane moved a little bit away from us. Just minimal damage in our house. A little tree down, and actually the only damage to the house itself that we can find is some soffit missing up here over the front entrance. There's a bush here that was pulled out by the roots. We'll have to replant. Our neighbor had her beautiful flowering tree damaged pretty extensively, but she'll be having that trimmed, and I'm sure it'll grow in. You can see how our bushes were pulled away by the wind. Hopefully we'll trim them up and they'll grow back in. A lot of debris laying around here. The water rose maybe 4 or 5 feet instead of the 15 feet they were predicting. So that was very lucky. The boat sits up there on its lift intact. Some of our neighbors weren't quite so lucky. This neighbor across the canal from us lost his pool enclosure, his lanai. It's totally collapsed. Another neighbor across the way had a huge tree pulled right out by the roots. There's a sister tree to it, so it was that tall. This is interesting. Here's a bush of ours that was completely stripped of all of its leaves. Used to look like that. Now it looks like that. The damage mostly is roofs, a few roofs blown off, and others with tiles blown off. Trees, a lot of branches in the road, some really big trees that have come down. Some power lines down, and also, of course, the lanais. Quite a few of those screen enclosures are down. See, one of our neighbors lost quite a bit of his roof here. That's typical. There's a palm tree down the way. I see one of our exterior lights got moved by the wind. We had winds in here that were somewhere around 100 miles an hour at times. It's amazing that houses are as intact as they are. Ours had no hurricane shutters and just doesn't seem to be too much damage at all other than that area up there. We have no power. None of the area has power, and they're telling us on the news that they don't have any idea when the power will be back because they haven't had a chance to assess damages. Most of the damage was done after dark. This was a mess here when I came by the other day.
That's a little miniature wind.
Look at that roof.
Look at that roof. That's the kind of roof I was talking about that was in our yard.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
tile.
One piece of that, yeah. Well, a half a piece, actually.
Yeah, that stuff usually stays up.
Yeah. It peeled back. I saw part of it on TV that they were actually filming when it happened, and it just like rolled right up. When the men came, they all stayed together, and it just rolled right up. Oh, wow.
Looks like the ones on this side of the canal got it more.
It must have come like this. Yeah, I've seen a couple like that. Isn't that odd how it's just leaning in like that?
And their dock is got blown up on shore.
This one up ahead, it looks like a tornado hit it, doesn't it? Because it's so twisted. Yeah. Yeah. Smell that? Front windows blown, yeah.